Hello, it's Cindy from the Holistic Parenting and Sleep Center with another video for you. This video is going to talk about the sleepers that parents put in bed when they're co-sleeping. And I know co-sleeping is super controversial. In the US, we have a big campaign against it, but I'm really of the philosophy that co-sleeping can be done safely. It can be done it can be helpful, and it's much better to give people education and let them make their own decisions than it is to just not educate them at all. So that being said, I do work with all sorts of families who are co-sleeping. I co-slept myself, and I even used one of these products that was on this list before I knew not to. So I just love to give people a little bit of extra information just so you can make the best choices for you and your family. So the products I'm talking about today are the little sleepers or bassinets that go in your bed if you're planning to co-sleep. And like I said, with my older son, I used one of these because it looked really cool and it looked helpful. And we actually moved this little thing all around our house. We had this humongous coffee table in our house when my son was an infant, and we would stick this sleeper thing on the coffee table, and that's just where we would put him down whenever we needed to get up. We didn't have an arm's reach co-sleeper at that point. We had a regular bassinet, and we had this in the bed bassinet. So in-bed infant sleepers are not actually sleep products, if you can believe that. They are not required to meet the federal safety standards that things like cribs and bassinets are required to meet. So what that means is they're considered a sleep accessory, and they're not, the safety standards are not upheld or even there the same way they are for things like cribs. So between 2012 and 2018, there have been reports of at least 12 deaths due to improper use of these in-bed infant sleepers. And what some of these things are the Baby Delight Snuggle Nest, the Dock-A-Tot, which I've created a separate video about, and the Swaddle Me by Your Side sleeper, which is, like I said, what I used with my own son before I knew that there was a difference between sleep products and sleep accessories. So they're assumed to be safe, but there's not adequate testing done. How infants move their muscles when they're sleepy is different than how they move their muscles when they're awake. There's more muscle fatigue when you're tired, and so the risk of suffocation is greater. With an in-bed sleeper, one of the bigger risks is that you can't control the firmness of the parent's mattress. So if the parent has a really soft mattress and then you're using one of these in-bed sleepers, the mattress isn't necessarily as firm as it would need to be to support the child. You can't necessarily control where it's placed. You can't control the adult's movements. So, maybe you have one partner who is a really solid sleeper where they don't move very much, or maybe you have a partner who is a very active sleeper where they're moving quite a lot. Different people sometimes with different sleep disorders are very active sleepers. You also can't control the weight displacement of the partners. So say you have a baby in one of these things like a by your side sleeper nest like I used to have with my kid. My husband is a lot taller and a lot heavier than I am. I'm a pretty small person. So I didn't realize we were doing something dangerous by having our son in the middle of the bed, because he displaces a lot more of the bed than I do. So it means that my son would be cockeyed a little bit. And my husband didn't like using that thing anyway, so I really only used it when he was at work and I was in the bed with the baby by myself, maybe taking a nap or something like that. But So those are things that you can't really control, is how firm the mattress is, where the sleeper gets placed in the bed, how much the adults that are in the bed move at night, and then the weight displacement of the partners. So you can look at the different product websites, and you want to look for the thing that says meets federal testing standards and has links to research, because you want to make sure that you're covering all your bases, that something is meeting the testing standards and has been researched by people other than the people who make the product. Because if I make a product and I research it myself, my research is obviously going to be biased. So you want to make sure that you're looking at research that's done by an outside organization, not necessarily the people who make the product. So if you want to know more about the Dock-A-Tot, you can look at my Dock-A-Tot video. But just, I really find it so important to just be an educated consumer. And obviously I wasn't whenever my son was a baby, and I'm really lucky that nothing happened with me using this type of product in the bed with him. But yeah, so you just want to be an educated consumer. You can go to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, I think is what it's called, and you can look up the safety standards for the different products. And again, there's a difference between things that are actually labeled sleep products and then things that are considered accessories. So I hope you found this helpful and educational. And as always, if you need any extra help, you can reach out to me at cindy@holisticsleepcenter.com.